related to healthcare domain. In this area, he has published quite a few research articles in reputed international Scopus indexed journals. He has total 38 publications to his credit as on date. Google Scholar reports a good number of citations to his research work, and his research gate score is 28.04. He is the reviewer for IEEE transactions on medical imaging, and he holds research funded projects from DST New Delhi, the fast track scheme for young scientists. He is founder and managing director of the startup Kumuda Health Tech Private Limited, and initially it was funded by BIRAC DBT Government of India. This works mainly on the 3D printing of human anatomical models. Recently, it has received a grant from the Department of ITBT, Government of Karnataka, for developing a virtual reality based surgical simulation tool. He is a guest editor of SN Applied Science Springer for collection titled Soft Computing Techniques for Biosignal Analysis. In the year 2021, in this year, he has started Kumuda Ravi Charitable Trust, an NGO which works for organic farming. He has also launched an online store for selling the goods manufactured by the network of Goshalas in Karnataka. A warm welcome to you, Dr. Sampath Kumar, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the long introduction. Yeah.
Over to you, sir. You can take up the podium and start the session, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for a very huge introduction that given. I'm going to talk about human anatomical models using 3D printers. You can see a 3D printer here. This is a Ultimaker 2 Plus that we use in Kumuda Health Tech. So what we do in Kumuda in 3D printing? So you give us a CT scan of any human body part, any from head to toe, any body part you give, we will give you a 3D printed model. So for example, we 3D print a set of vertebrae, that is a human backbone. We print scoliotic spine, that is a spine, entire spine of the human body, which is defected by a problem called scoliosis. A skull or a jaw. Take up this example. If you see a normal spine, it will be straight, and this spine is curved like this. This problem is called scoliosis that occurs to young students, young people, adolescent people, and the treatment for this is you have to make it straight using a surgery. We print human skull like this. This is again a CT scan of the human skull is given to us. We segment only the skeleton and human that is bones, and this problem is for corrective jaw surgery. That is, if the jaw is the upper or the lower is not matching, okay, and there is a problem in chewing, so we cut this is called mandible. Okay, this part like this, and we make it move up or front or back and correct it. As you can see, if you say this is the mandible, the lower jaw. We cut here and cut this part and make it go back in this direction. Okay, this is called corrective jaw surgery. The dentist uses. And finally, I'll show you a set of vertebra. This one. This is the last 5 bones of the human spine. This is called L1, L2, L3, L4, and L5. So these five bones, why we take print of this is because, as I said, corrective jaw surgery, the doctor has to place screw here, here, and here. This is called pedicle. So this part is called pedicle. So the pedicle screw has to be placed, and doctor has to get trained. That is the PG students of orthopedics. They should get trained. They can't do it on an actual vertebra. So we print and we give it to them. So these are the four things that we do in Kumuda on in the human body parts. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the 3D printed vertebra, and this is a 3D printed spine picture. I'll show you a 3D model using a video. And finally, the skull. This is my friend. He's holding the skull. You can see the skull is the actual the scale of the skull. You can see. I think from past few days you are studying only this thing. What is 3D printing? I won't go in detail, but normally 3D printing is fusing and depositing materials like plastic, metal, ceramics, the powder, the liquids. But what I'm going to tell you is today about the latest technology, that is the living cells. The living cells are also deposited and made in the form of a layers and more. Human what do you call organs can be 3D printed. Okay, but we don't do it in Kumuda Tech. I'll just give you an introduction how a organ or a human body part can be printed, not like a bone. And it has got several names like additive manufacturing, rapid prototyping, solid freeform technology. Okay, I think people have learned a lot about these things. So what is the need of day? The need of today is you have to print a tissue or organ. Okay, so due to aging or disease or accident or birth defect, there is a critical medical problem. So what we are interested in searching for a donor, and there is a chronic shortage of human organs donors available for transplant. This is a survey done in US. So 1,25,000 people need a transplant organ waiting for the implant, and the surgery and follow-up is very expensive. It is more than 500 billion is the target. So there is a what I mean to say with this slide is there is a lot of need for a tissue or organ implanted, and we don't manufacture or we don't 3D print the human organs or the tissues, but what we do is a bone, only bone thing, hard tissue are 3D printed in our company. So we use PLA. 90% of the time it is PLA, that is polylactic acid only, is used for printing because it's easy to print and it is biodegradable. And ABS is sometimes okay, according to the requirement. And there was a need where PLA cannot be used for a 3D printed bone, because when we use PLA, as I said, you have to make a hole in the spine and you have to insert a screw. It's called pedicle screw. So when we try to insert a screw using PLA material, it gets sheared in the horizontal direction and you cannot make a hole. So that's why we found a new material called TPU, which is flexible and it can replace PLA. And these are the other materials can be used in our 3D printer. So what are the tools used for 3D printing? The first and foremost, what we require is there are 2D images. As you know, CT scan is taken layer by layer. You take, say, consider this, what you see on the this image is a vertebra. So what CT scan will give is horizontal slices like this. So we have to stitch it. Okay, we have to stitch it using a method, and this is done using either a CATIA or a SolidWorks or a Unigraphics or Creo. Okay, so we have an open source alternative for it. It is Invisalis. It's a very good tool, easy to access. You can learn it easily. And 3D Slicer is a very important tool in biomedical modeling. Okay, it's a completely open source, and you have very good uh, people who can help you in developing. And if you have a community, is also good. They can help you in a lot of respects. And Mimics, anyway, it's a very costly software. Okay, and I think in MIT we have only one license. It you give just some slices of CT scan, it will give you the 3D model of a bone. Then coming to ITK VTK, that is Insult Toolkit and Visualization Toolkit. It's open source, and what this 3D slicer has is inside it will have this ITK VTK. It is developed using C++, and this 3D slicer will have a graphical user interface. When you have a GUI, it becomes easier for a person to develop the models. Then for dental application, there is ITK Snap. And the last one is very important, Mesh Mixer. Again, it's a open source. So what Mesh Mixer can do is you give a Mesh Mixer some 2 or 3 models. It will mix the meshes and it will give a total model can be exported as a single unit. Yeah? So what image I have shown you, model I have shown you in a previous diagram, that is 5 vertebrae was stacked one above the other. So it's an output of Mesh Mixer. What I had is 5 L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, 5 vertebrae. I can fuse it, I can mix it using Mesh Mixer. It's an important software, it's open source. So I'm slightly moving away from the 3D printing. I'll just want to tell you about a database. It's called Voxelman. As the name suggests, you don't have pixels there, you have voxels, that is a 3D points cloud. So it's a training simulator. The training simulator, it's used most probably in the case of virtual reality, ear, endoscopy, and dental. There are a lot of tools already developed using Voxelman, and it imports own cases from CT and MRI, and it gives you a collection of high resolution models. Okay? And the Voxelman database has these 3. This is the color image, this is the CT scan image, and this is the color label image. Okay, so it is segmented inner organs. So this slice is obtained from the torso. Okay, obtained from the torso. This is your backbone. Okay, and there are other inner body materials or inner body things are also present in that. There is the CT scan of it, and here they have labeled it. Okay, whether it's a spleen or whether it's a colon, okay, or any other tissue that is present. Okay, so this covers the torso of the human male and consists of 774 slices, all of in 3, that is color, CT, and label images from torso, that is from the top head to toe. Okay, and this is the resolution, 573 by 330 is the resolution, and this is the total number of height, that is pixels. And if you see its inner details, I just copied from that Voxelman database. So you can access this database just by writing a mail to them. You're not using it for commercial purposes. If you write that, they'll give an access to the human body, and the slices that what you're getting is imported in this software ImageJ. So you go for file and import it, and the image sequences, and either you can import the color image or the CT or the label data, and the segmented organs are listed in the object list. Okay, so I'll show you the output of uh, the inner organs. So here you can see, so this is the backbone, okay, and this is the spleen, and if you want a 3D view, you go for a 3D viewer plugin to this image. So use 3D viewer plugin and you put the threshold and transparency. Okay, and you use some algorithm. This marching cube algorithm, what you see is here, is used for stitching. Okay, so 2D slices are there, in between you have to place something, so that is done by marching cube algorithm. And this is the 3D volume. I've taken a made a video out of it. So go for object file import, okay, and your multi-scheme algorithm, you put a threshold. Okay, so here you can see only the bones. It is because you are using CT scan images. Okay, and what CT scan will give is only the hard tissues it will have, and it will remove all the remaining soft tissues. Okay, so this is image A and 3D volume view of a CT scan image. And if you want the soft tissues, you go for the color segmented images. So here is a color segmented image. So import it. You use a marching cube algorithm. You write, you combine or stitch the images, and you can see. So since it's a color image, you can see all the inner body parts also along with the uh, tissues and bones. So like this, you can stitch the label data also, and you can see the labels. And there is another software that is present in open source software with the using ITK and VTK, ITK Snap. It's an open source software. There is no GUI. You have to run it using the basic algorithm, and there is something called Snakes tool. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there is a called Snake tool. What this does is does the segmentation. Okay, so it's better I give the example because you may not be interested in this algorithm. What is written? So this is the brain. Okay, I take one slice of the brain. Okay, and if in this slice on the side view you can see this. Okay, and this is the top view, this is side view, and the coronal view. So all the three views, if you see, and what I do is I speed up the speed image is generated that separates the foreground and the background. So this is the foreground, and this blue thing is background. uh, this has got a GUI where you can mention what pixel stands for what. Okay, so here I place the bubbles. Okay, by placing the bubbles will spread in the regions where or the part which I am interested to segment. So the bubbles will spread like this. Bubbles will spread in the region where I wanted to segment. So what the region what I wanted to segment is the skull, that is the gray matter. So once it is spread, I can create the 3D view, and it is exported into another software called ParaView. Okay, the speciality of this ParaView is I can export it into a virtual reality environment. Okay, it's in VTK format. It is exported. So how it will look like this. So outside is a gray matter, inner is a white matter. Okay, it's not properly segmented because I haven't used the structure that is available in the other direction. So only the things that are that bubble that moves. Okay, and here you can see one place that is a tumor. Okay, so it's a CT scan of a tumor. Uh, since the tumor has got more blood, more white uh, water content, it can be easily segmented by using a threshold method. So gray white that water molecules will have a large number of uh, water content will explore that, give the higher intensity values, and you can easily segment it. And similar way, we segmented a heart, and this is the aorta, and you can go inside the heart also. You can see what all the chambers that are present inside the heart. Okay, if there is a problem in the walls, that's also you can easily see, and easily four chambers are separated, and this is the aorta. This is a crude model. Okay, you can get more sophisticated models by using a proper segmentation technique. So whatever two the brain and the heart that I have shown you, it is extracted from the CT scan data. Okay, and these are all can also be obtained from the Voxelman data. And let me talk about uh, Visible Human project. So a Visible Human project is a database. Again, here the CT and MRI of both male and female cadaver are taken, and the color images are sectioned at 1 millimeter step size. And 1 millimeter per step size, it is cut and dried and scanned. So this is the one slice, one common slice of uh, head. So when the CT scan is taken, you can see all these hard tissues are clearly seen. When I take MRI, all the soft tissues are seen very clearly. And this is 1 millimeter section is taken, and it is dried and scanned. It is put on a placed and scan section is scanned. Now, what is Visible Human Project? So in Visible Human Project, you can take the entire torso, or you can take one part of the brain and you can print it. Okay, you can part of the torso you can print it. This is a part of the ribs. This is a part of uh, the vertebra. So you'll get more idea by looking at this video. Sorry. So this is a yeah.
Sampath sir, I have one
Ah,
question.
yeah.
Not to disturb your flow. These CT scan
Just a
images
minute.
you
Just a
get
minute,
from.
sir. It's not pausing. Ah, tell me, sir. Yeah, tell me, sir.
Have me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please tell me.
So these CT scan images, whatever we go for the scanning, there from there itself
Uh,
only we can get this one, or you have to
no,
ask
you
any.
ask them in CD, they'll burn the CD and they'll give you.
Okay, 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 sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
This is inside the colon. So like that, the muscles. Yeah. Yeah. Um, that's why in the beginning I said you just tell me what part of the brain or what part of the body you want to print. I can give you a print because we have the database like this. It is not used for a commercial purpose. It is for the study purpose, like especially in the case of a dental or in the case of orthopedics. People don't have a actual cadaver. Okay, so in those cases we can print and we normally give it. And at present is going on in the KMC. Okay, and if other people are approach for a cadaveric model, say they want a uh, uh, that orthopedic problem, you want to 3D print of the knee, you can get the 3D print of the knee just by taking the CT scan, or without taking the CT scan also a model can be given to them because we have access to these databases. This is for the research purpose. And I'll skip these two videos, especially because this all talk about the 3D slicer, its capabilities and so on. So those who are interested, I'll share this presentation, can go through them. Then I'll move on to some interesting things in 3D printing. Okay? Um, Still have, I think, 1 hour time. Customized 3D printing. Okay. So far I said for a study purpose, you give a CT scan model, give a CT, MRI scan, we give a 3D printed one. It is not customized. Okay. Now I talk about the customized 3D printing. Let us say a baby was born prematurely, and after 8 months, the lung developed meant cause concerns. Okay, no proper lung development. So 6 weeks later, it stops breathing. Okay, and it's called blue baby. Okay, it's a typical example of that is taught in medical colleges. Okay, so what is uh, diagnosis is it's called tracheobronchomalacia. Okay, that problem, what doctor says is what it's called tracheostomy. Okay, and you have to put it in a ventilator. Okay, so ventilators nowadays have become very popular because of COVID. So it is still you to stop breathing almost daily. Okay, so you have to put it in a ventilator. So this doctor, shown on the right hand side, he's developed a 3D printed bioresorbable device. Okay, it's a bioresorbable device. That is, it's a prime example. He replaced that lung pipe, that is a wind pipe, with a 3D printed one. Okay, and this is called a prime example of how customized 3D printing. Okay, if you don't have actual, so now this is a classical example. Why I'm telling a classical example is because in the beginning I said you can print the human body organs also. Okay, but it is not a printing of a human organ. It is still a printing of a bioresorbable 3D pipe. Okay, that is replaced to that body, and after that it gets developed. That developing that breathing. Okay, it gets removed. Okay, so this is a customized one. Now, what we do in Kumudha, so these are the two X-rays of a patient, okay, of a scoliosis patient. Scoliosis, as I said, there is a curving of the human body. It must be straight, okay, must be straight in a normal person, but it is curved. So if these two X-rays are given to our model, it is a cloud. We have a stereo radiographic reconstruction algorithm. What this does is it will produce a 3D model. Okay, it will produce a 3D model like this, or it can also, we can 3D print it. Okay, just see here, it's exactly replication of this. This is a 3D printed model. Now, why one need a 3D printed model? Why is not happy with a 3D model, which is a software? Okay, now software is a software, tool is a tool. Okay, on the screen he may not understand the curvatures, etc. properly. Okay, now you must have have some doubts, right? Why, when X-ray is available, why one has to take a 3D print? Now the scoliosis is a 3D model, 3D problem. That is, it will spine get twisted in 3-dimensional. Okay, and you are diagnosing it using 2 X-rays. Okay, as diagnosing a 3D problem with a 2D X-rays is always a doesn't give you an actual result. Okay, so what we do is we print it and we give a soft copy. We'll say in which plane is it's actually twisted. Okay, that plane of maximum curvature, etc. will give. Okay, and also we printed, the reason why we printed, because the surgeon can have a 3D virtual 3D printing or 3D surgery, okay, virtual surgery on this models. Okay, what is virtual surgery? Virtual surgery is we give this model to the surgeon. He'll keep it on a table, okay, and he'll decide how many number of screws he has to place, how many pedicle screws. Each screw will cost for around 15,000 rupees. Okay, and by looking at this, if he performs the surgery, he must have decided 5-6 screws may be required. But when he does the surgery, mock surgery, on the surgery simulation, when he does it, he'll come to know exact numbers. Okay, maybe 3 or 4 is sufficient to correct this spine. Okay, if that is the case, then the patient will require only 3 or 4 screws instead of 5 or 6. Okay, and he'll be the patient. The cost of the surgery will come down to 40-50,000 rupees. Okay, because 3 or 4 screws you are saving, so that much amount of money is comes down Okay. Also, the patient recovery times increases. Okay. Why patient recovery time increases? Because less operation is performed, less surgery is performed on his spine, and also the lesser will be the number of screws. Okay, that will help the patient to recover very soon. Okay, and this is what we do in Kumudha. If anyone has doubt, please ask me. Till now, whatever I have explained, if you have doubt, please ask me.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Do you require to do any pre-processing of the images that you get from the CT scans?
Yes, pre-processing is required. The pre-processing is a removal of noise, okay, basically. And sometimes what happens is, especially when you take a CT scan of the torso, a lot of bones are coming as obstacles, okay, ribs especially. I want only spine, okay. But when the spine X-ray or CT scan is taken, all the ribs are also coming into picture. Okay, how to remove them. Okay, and also sometimes CT scan is basically X-rays. Okay, X-rays taken slice by slice. So X-rays always going to get degraded because of the noise that is present in the environment. So those two things have to be taken care of. Yeah.
Okay,
Anything else?
okay. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, sir.
Sir, Naveen here. One more question. Sir, this X-rays are 2D, no, sir?
Yeah.
So how do you convert it into a 3D there model, how it is going to get
Yeah,
converted?
it is this stereo radiographic reconstruction I was talking
Mm.
about. Uh, what we do is we deform a standard model according to these X-rays. Okay, so there is a
Mm.
standard model available. We deform that according to these X-rays. Okay, and that has got a we have got a patent for that. So
Okay.
I cannot explain in detail,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's a 3D model. It is not a 3D print, exact 3D print of this model.
Mm.
Okay, this is the standard model deformed according to this
Mm.
curves. Now,
Okay, sir.
shall I go ahead?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So the first one, customized model, I said windpipe is replaced. Okay. Second one is this is what the scoliotic surgery. I just want you people to understand the complexity of the surgery. Okay, before getting into understanding the, so whatever I tell is maybe look very simple. You put two screws and make it straight. Okay, it is not so simple. You just see this. This is the pedicle screw. So this is one type of surgery, scoliotic surgery. There is another type. So why this scoliosis surgery is very critical is because the spinal cord runs inside this spine. Okay? The spinal cord is an extension of the human brain, and that runs inside this vertebral column or spine. So when you do the surgery, if anything happens to that spinal cord, the human either he'll lose auditory or he'll lose the limbs. He cannot walk. Okay, so such critical problems will occur. Okay, so that's why they take CT scan before the surgery. And what we suggest is not to take the CT scans every time. Okay, so we prevent taking CT scan every time because it is carcinogenic. That is, it will lead to cancer. To take MRI any number of times, it is okay, but you cannot take CT scans more than 2 times for a human body. It will lead to cancer. Okay, and why every time you cannot take this MRI scan? It's because if you have any implant in your body, the magnet that is 1.5 Tesla or 2 Tesla, huge magnetic field, that will pierce the human body and it will come out, and it cannot have a MRI scan if there is a human implant. So CT scan and MRI scan has got limitation in the case of scoliosis. So that's why we proposed this model for a human body without a CT scan, MRI scan. And again, the CT and MRI is taken when the patient is in sleeping position. Okay, and what the doctor need a 3D human body is in a standing position. Okay, and both CT and MRI cannot give a 3D model in standing position. So that's why we propose this model, that is a 3D reconstruction from human body using 2 X-rays. Okay, and that is in a standing position, which will give you the accurate measurement of the. And what is the treatment for this scoliosis? Is treatment is surgery is the last part of the treatment. Initially, what is done is the patient will wear a brace. Okay, brace. It will something like a helmet. You place front and back, and you push the bones to become straight. Okay, so braces are placed in the human body. Every year, the patient has to come and he has to see in which direction the progression has taken place the opposite direction, the forces has to be put, and the surgery is done. Not surgery, the braces are replaced. So braces are replaced every year. Okay, and we suggest you take a Spinac. It is called Spinac. You take our model and take the accurate measurements and go for a better treatment. And during the surgery, anyway, they will take the CT scan just to prevent the harm that can take place to the spinal cord. Yeah. Have any doubts?
There is one question from Rayappa Srinivas Mahadev. The question is, sir, nowadays most of the spinal implant surgeries are failing, and some patients are experiencing the imbalance in the cerebrospinal fluid after surgery. How to overcome this problem? That is a question.
Yeah, it's a pure medical problem. I'm just an engineer. I can just suggest you go for a better doctor, and as far as possible, don't perform any surgery on brain or spinal cord. Okay, there are hundreds of options not to go for the surgery. You can create or you can cure those problems with several other methods. Okay, and surgery is the last option. Okay, they say you are not going to live without surgery for 1 or 2 years. Yeah, go for surgery. Otherwise, go for options where you don't come across surgery, especially for the brain and spinal cord. Okay, very, very critical issues. I can suggest you personally. I can suggest you some doctors who can do it. Okay, not on this air. Okay, you have my phone number. You have my email ID. You can contact me. I can tell you surgeons, those who don't prefer to do this surgery. See, nowadays it has become this business. Okay, if you have a back pain, you go for surgery. No, for a back pain, no surgery can cure a back pain. Okay, and this is the real truth. You cannot cure a back pain with surgery. Okay, and there are a lot of doctors, good doctors. They say don't go for surgery for back pain or any related to spine or spinal cord. Okay, if they don't have a proper what is that understanding, or they don't have a training on this kind of surgeries, if they do it, they'll create more problems than the existing one. Okay, please you call me and you take my contact number and you can call me or mail me. Okay, fine.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'll proceed.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah. One the things what we do in Kumudha, and also what can be done with the 3 virtual visible human project that I told you. Now I'll tell you 13 things that you can 3D print in medicine right now. Okay, and I'm not an expert in all these things. Okay, but I can just tell you. Okay, these are the possibilities in future. Okay, the first thing is researchers in Harvard University are making great progress in bioprinting blood vessels. Okay, and a critical step towards printing tissues with a blood supply. Okay, and before telling this, let me tell you, you can without bioprinting, our body itself is a bioprinter. Okay, one example is you must have heard about the blood clots that occurs in the outer surface of the heart. Okay, for that, what doctor will do is, I'll tell you, is you cut the blood vessel and bypass it. It is called bypass surgery. Okay, but if you have a patience, okay, if you stay for a few months or few years, the blood vessels automatically will create a bypass. Okay, and they they know how to bypass it. Okay, and this kind of bioprinting may not be necessary. Okay, but people don't have patience. Okay, people don't have patience. They immediately go for bypass surgery, and in 2 years or 3 years they get a heart attack and they die. Okay, so don't take immediate decisions for angioplasty or bypass surgery and so on. Okay, they're all things which human body is a one which has that capability to cure itself. Okay, if you have a headache, leave it for a half an hour and don't think about anything, your headache will go. If you have a stomach ache, give rest to your stomach for half a day, your stomach get cured. Okay, all this because your body itself is a good doctor. Okay, and the doctor is a last least or that final option. Okay, tomorrow you're going to die, go to a doctor and doctor will extend your life for 1 or 2 years. Okay, now coming back to this 3D printing, it is custom built 3D printer. Okay, and it's called a dissolving ink. Okay, what they have is a dissolving ink, and it's a swatch of tissue containing skin cells interwoven, okay, with structural material, something like this. Okay, this is a tissue with blood vessels. You can see the beautiful video. See, this is the blood vessels they have created. Lewis lab. Okay, and about prosthetic parts. Okay, these are all interesting things. Okay, this is all worn externally. Okay, whatever is worn externally is good, and whatever you are doing internally is you have to think twice about it before doing it. Okay, so creating a traditional prosthetics very time consuming and destructive. Okay, if you're doing it traditionally, you can visit some doctors and they'll tell you what process they'll do it. Now what I'm telling is a 3D printing. Okay, any modifications to the process would destroy the original molds. Okay, so what you can see on his hand is it's a one. He doesn't have any fingers. Okay, you use 3D printing, low cost process. So benefits are it is customization. Okay, there is something called screen 3D scanner. Okay, scanner like 3D printer, which scans. Say let's say you have in the right arm you have 4 fingers and you don't have any finger on the left arm. Okay, you scan right hand 4 fingers with this 3D scanner and you print it. Okay, and you put some connections and connect it to the left arm and you can get the 3D printer. It's customized one. Rapid production is possible. Economical one. It's versatile. It takes patient wishes into account. Okay, you can tell it is long, small, all these things you can tell. All these additional parameters you can explain. It is accessible to even the remotest places at cheaper cost. Okay, that is the most beneficial. Then coming to this, continuing that low cost prosthetics at the University of Toronto. Okay, you see here, this is the processes you can write. So benefits of these kind of processes, they're lightweight. Okay, I heard about Jaipur foot, Jaipur legs. Okay, so you can't handle that weight. Okay, first of all you don't have a leg. Okay, after that you are putting Jaipur leg, which is cost weight 2 to 3 kgs. Okay, it's very difficult. Whereas you 3D print it, you can get it very lightweight. Okay, very lightweight thing. Only thing is, say this rod, what is there? That will give you the strength. Okay, this is the prosthetic hand. There is something called orthosis. Okay, these are called the orthosis. Orthosis are put over the hand or leg. Okay, and prosthesis is where you don't have leg or hand. Okay, and what they did, they used Autodesk Research. Okay, collaboration with Autodesk Research. They quickly produced cheap and easily customizable. Okay, easily customizable. That is, you can decrease or increase its length. Okay, customizable prosthetic sockets for patients in the developing world, and they train locals how to operate the machinery, create a patient-specific limbs, okay, and fit these new, very inexpensive prosthetics. And that even the training is done by these people. And this is a low-cost prosthetic fingers. Okay, it's a very you can move these fingers. Okay, you can move these fingers. like that much flexibility is there. Okay, and lightweight prosthetic lead. See here, there is no weight at all. It's all mesh. Okay, it's all mesh. This is the prosthesis. Prosthesis is the one which is you are replacing some limb. Orthosis is the one which is you are putting over the limb. Okay, this is the called orthosis. Okay, so it is a resting splint. Okay, they call it a splint. Okay, and this is the dorsal one, dorsal splint, and this is the night uh, spinal. Okay, this is what about braces I was talking about. Okay, you put the brace, tailor brace or knit brace. Okay, so what they do is they push the other body part bones to make it become straight. Next year again you come, they replace this brace. Next year again you come, make this brace. So what happens in scoliosis? Scoliosis occurs at the age of, it's a teenage problem. Okay, especially happens to the girls. So at 13, 14, 15, okay, you initially if you identify there, it's your back is twisting. Okay, take the treatment. It is easier to cure. Okay, so at the 13, you find out the spine is slowly getting twisted. Okay, 13 you come and put the brace. 14 you replace the brace. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, it gets cured if you are is earlier diagnosed. Okay, and if not diagnosed properly, what happens at the 19th or 20th? You have to go for surgery because after 19, it is no one can make the spine straight. Okay, because it's not flexible. Only in the teenage it is flexible. Okay, so it's a beautiful video on prosthetic hand.
Sir, these are all PLA material itself or any different material, flexible material?
Yeah, this is where the electronics and mechanical, electrical, they meet. There is a company in Manipal which does this bionic hand. Okay, you move your left hand and the prosthetic right hand will move, or the vice versa. Okay. Uh, yeah. Any doubts or clarifications, please?
Sir, my question is for
Uh,
material which is used here, same PLA material?
yeah, PLA is used for that rigid thing, and for flexibility, you use the TPU.
TPA.
TPU.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. And third application out of that 13, the third one is customized assistive devices. Okay, so it is same, entirely different from prosthesis and orthosis. It is assistive device. Okay, so has some problem in walking, you use this assistive device. Okay, this one. And if you have problem in yeah, eating and finger movement of the finger, you can use problem in writing. Okay, they're all customized. You can print them. And customized implants. Okay, this we don't do it in Kumudha. The main reason is you don't have metal printer. Okay, if you have metal printing facility, we outsource these kind of things. Okay, especially this one is for the uh, people where they don't have vertebra, missing vertebra. Okay, one vertebra is missing or two vertebra is missing, you print and you put it in between. Okay, this is for dental application, dental implant, very famous. Okay, you just screw it to fix. Okay, and this is where the when jawbone is not touching or there is a missing. Okay, mandible is missing the this thing, so in those cases you can put this kind of implant. Okay, I'll just go a little fast. Okay, this is called corrective jaw surgery. Okay, that is where we were doing in Kumudha. We were printing this mandible I was talking about. Okay, this jaw, this bone is called mandible. Okay, and this is come out. You have to push this back, and this is the new one after correction. Okay, it's called orthognathic surgery. For this only, we are printing the whole skull and also the mandible. Okay, so you have to cut somewhere. So this temporomandibular joint (TMJ). This is what we show. I have shown in the last implant. The last implant is TMJ is missing, so put a implant here. Here also you can cut the jaw. You cut this jaw. You can make this jaw to move forward, or you can make it backward also. Okay, and our job is to give this 3D print of this, and the doctor will decide how many millimeters he has to cut. Okay, that is done. There is a pre-surgical planning for all those purposes. They'll use it. And ear cartilage is very interesting. Okay, there is a 3D printed ear. Okay, and these molds are then filled with gel containing bovine cartilage cells. Okay, and yeah, I have a video of that. This is developed on a Yeah, that's about the ear cartilage. Next, coming to the tailor-made sensors. Okay. The Washington University scans of human animal hearts, okay, to create printed models around which stretchable electronics were wrapped. Okay, won't go into in detail of these things. Okay, we'll just see this. These are the tailor-made sensors. This 3D printed. Then this is interesting. Medical models. Okay. So what the group of researchers in China and US printed the models of cancerous tumors, okay, to aid discovery a new anti-cancer drugs and better understand how tumors develop, grow, and spread. Okay, these are all developed. Okay, this is for the study purpose or the research purpose. Okay, these are the cancerous. So there is a heart, there is a cancerous tissues they have formed. They developed it. And bones. Okay, this is 3D printing of the bones. It is the actual bone that is developed. I'll just show you the bone model. So it's very much your field, mechanical engineering. Okay, so not a lesser bone load bearing and larger bone bearing. Okay, load bearing structures, especially the bones, backbones. Okay, large load bearing structures can be produced, and most of the things are your field of specialization. I'm not going to explain much. This is very interesting. Okay, heart walls. So at present, people are replacing heart wall with the external structures. Okay, you can print them. Okay, it was tested in a sheep. Okay, so it was tested in a sheep, and the dual syringe machine. Let me tell you something about dual syringe machine and single syringe machine. In single syringe machine, you can print one model with one type of material, and in dual syringe machine, you can print one model with two types of material. Like as I was talking about one hand, prosthetic hand, where you need a hard structure as well as a uh, uh, structure which is elastic. Okay, so both of them you put in two syringes, and TPU and PLA can be put in two syringes, and you can grow it. Then last three applications left. It is medical equipment. Okay, so due to ability to manufacture items that may be difficult or expensive to obtain a traditional means. Okay, they have taken a 3D printing umbilical cord clamps. Okay, so these umbilical cord clamps you cannot expect massively manufactured. Okay, because the problem is very specific. Okay, and the size of umbilical cord may differ from patient to patient and so on. Okay, so in local hospitals in Haiti, what they did is, see, this kind of small materials or things that can be customized, okay, customized prints that can be obtained with the help of 3D printing. Okay, and this umbilical cord clamps is a best example for that. Yeah, any doubt from audience? Shall I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, there are 10 more minutes left. Cranium replacement. Okay, this I have come across, have seen it. The cranium is replaced with the metal. Okay, this is possible in India. Okay? There are Reliance Research Foundation, so those people are already are into this medical that metal 3D printing. Okay, a team of Dutch surgeons at University Medical Center in Utrecht replaced the entire top portion of a 22-year-old woman's skull with a customized printed implant. Okay, and this story has been replayed in China, where a man with a crushed skull was given a tailor-made 3D printed titanium replacement. Okay? And in Slovakia, a different man with brain damage received a similar 3D printed treatment. Okay? The cranium, this part is called cranium. Okay? And this cranium, you are putting the 3D printed material, and you are putting some screws here. So identify some places where more pressure, okay, it takes place. There you put the screws and you replace it. And synthetic skin is this is especially women, okay, will be happy with this. Okay, girls will be happy with this. The James Yu at the Wake Forest School in Medicine in US has developed a printer that can print screen straight onto the wounds of a burn victims. Okay, straight onto the screen. So with the ability to scan wound, the printer can then fabricate, okay, the appropriate number of skin layers to fill the wound. The James Yu's research, okay, was able to successfully demonstrate the visibility of a 10 centimeter piece of skin transplanted onto a pig. Okay, and then since then it is funded by US Army. Okay, because Army people normally they burn the skin. Okay, to use the technology to treat wounded soldiers. This is a synthetic skin. Okay, there is a wound. Okay, so on the wound you directly print the screen. I think I had the video. No, okay. Then coming to the last application, organ printing, 3D printing of the organ. Organemo recently announced the commercial launch of their bioprinted liver. Okay, bioprinted liver. So the 3D printed liver cells that are able to function more than 40 days. Okay, remember it is just a story. Okay, it's not an actual thing. After 40 days, what happens to that liver? Okay, if it is placed on a human being after 40 days, what will happen? Okay, so these are all the concerns. People have to get their certification from certification agencies. Okay, while the moment the product is used for testing new pharmaceuticals. Okay, and the Organimo's top executives and their industry experts suggest that within a decade we will be able to print the solid organs such as liver, heart, and kidney, and hundreds of thousands of people worldwide are waiting for an organ donor. Imagine how such a technology could transform their lives. Okay, so what is the process of bioprinting? Okay, it may be interesting to you people. Okay, there is no much electronics in it, all mechanical. So create a blueprint of an organ. Okay, with its vascular structure. This is very important. Okay? So if you don't know the vascular structure, it won't combine with the actual blood vessels or tissues present on the body. Okay, so you should know the vascular structure, vascular architecture. Okay, that is very, very important. And generate a bioprinting process plan. Isolate the stem cells and differentiate the stem cells into organ-specific cells. Okay, and we have to prepare a bio ink reservoirs. Okay, you can see some papers. You will understand what is exactly is this, and organ specific cells, blood vessels, cells, and support medium. Okay, and load them into the printer and bioprint, and place the bioprinted organ in a bioreactor prior to the transplantation. Okay, and this is the process, entire process I have explained this. So it's a future trend. So I'll just skip some of the things, okay, because as maybe some of you are hungry, okay, I've made my presentation such a way that it contains most videos, okay, so that you will not get bored. It's not the right time to explain some of the important things. Anyway, I skipped some many of the slides also because of this reason. Okay, so while I'm going to the conclusions, okay, and the future trends is bioprinting of complex organs, okay, and uh, repairing the external organs, okay, such as skins and already taken place. Okay, so this will have a lot of no, opportunities in cosmetics and so on. Okay, that's why I said the people, human, that is girls and women, may be very happy with such 3D printing. Okay, directly print on the face, okay, get the new cells on the human face and so on. There are a lot of opportunities, and repairs of partially damaged or diseased or manufacturing internal organs. Okay, and direct tissue repair is what I was talking about, and robotic bioprinting and robot assisted surgery are going to maybe the integral and the evaluation of this technology. In conclusion, I'll say the 3D printing has become useful and potentially transformative tool, okay, including medicine. So as printers performance, resolution, and available materials have increased, so have the applications also increased. So continue to improve existing medical applications, okay, that use 3D printing technology and to explore new ones, okay, and the medical advancement have been made using 3D printing are already significant and exciting. Okay? You have sensors, you have tissues, you have organs, you have skins and exercises and so on. But some of the more evolutionary applications, such as organ printing, will need time to evolve. Okay, these are my references: the U.S. National Library, Medicine National Institution of Health, okay, and also here is my contact details. Okay, I can take, can note it down. Write to sampathkumar@gmail.com. Okay, And kumar.sampath@manipal.edu also you can approach. You can see my website for the details. Okay. Thank you very much for the that lot of spending time with me, listening, for patient listening. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for such a elaborative and informative session. I request the audience, if you have any queries, you can post it to the speaker, or else you can type it in the chat box.
Yeah, one thank you came. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you all. I think there are no queries. Over to you, Naveen sir. Naveen Kalal sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Gauri sir. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Sampath Kumar sir for taking from his busy schedule. He was able to come here and join us. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And it was a very nice presentation, and you gave a lot of information to the audience. And it was nice to know that ENC faculty is working on the entrepreneur level, and is making the society better, thinking of making the society better, working in this area also. So it's very informative. I hope participants will be taking much information and will be contacting you, not here through this one, through your contact address. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks a lot. Yeah.